Hi, Abby.
Okay, first question. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was your favorite memory?
So, I will tell you that I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, and my mom always said that it was a really foggy day, and she didn't know if they would get to the hospital in time. And when I was young, because it was during the war, my parents moved our family from Phoenix to Ohio to be with my mom's family, and so my dad could have work during the war. And I think my youngest memory in childhood was when I was right around 3, and my mom had 3 sisters and 3 brothers, and we were at Aunt Nance's house for a summer barbecue. And I can remember being in the kitchen and sitting there dunking something in my lemonade, and it just was a happy time. You know, I remember the being out in the yard and the aunts and uncles and the cousins, and what a happy time it was.
How did you meet Papa?
Well, Guido was a really good friend of my sister, Mary Lou, and her husband, Tom, and they had met through a class that Guido was teaching, and they felt pity on him because here was this nice young Estonian man living alone and not such good, where did he eat? Did he eat out of cans? So they kind of got in the habit of having him over to dinner a lot, and so they became really, really good friends. And so then over time, a short period of time, I just was supposed to meet him, and we just never quite, it was like I was there, he wasn't there, whatever happened. And then in the summer of '62, Mary Lou and Tom had been living in Albuquerque, and they came to town and they had a barbecue at Mom and Dad's because they wanted everyone to come see them. And lo and behold, Guido showed up, and he wound up sitting across from my then boyfriend and I, and we just really, the 3 of us had the best conversation. And that was in July, and I didn't see him or hear from him or anything. I didn't really think much about it. He was a nice guy. And the following March, they were in town again. Thank God they were in town again. And so he came by our house and asked my mom, did she know where they were staying? And he gave him a call and arranged dinner. And as he was leaving, he turned around and he said, would you like to join us? And my mother said, yes, she really would. I did go out to dinner with him, and that was kind of maybe the middle of March. And by the end of March, I was riding with him to Tucson in the Porsche, which was awesome. And we went down for a sports car race, and then he spontaneously took me to Nogales for dinner, and we ate at the cave, and it was just such a nice experience. And that was it. After that, I didn't date anyone else, and after that, he didn't see anyone else, and we just had this wonderful connection. And a year later, we got married on April 25th, 1964. So the rest is history. 2 children, 2 wonderful sons-in-law, 4 amazing grandchildren.
What would the best piece of advice that you'd like to give to anybody?
Well, Addie, since I've lived a long, long time, I can tell you, you name the subject, I can give you advice. But I try not to give you advice unless you ask. So, the best piece of advice that I have ever had in my lifetime came from my husband, your grandpa. And it was before we were married, just before we were married, and I don't know what we were talking about, but the subject came around about arguments. And you know how people have arguments. And so the thing of it is, when you argue with someone, unfortunately, it's our nature to go, oh yeah, you think because I didn't clean up the messy cupcake mess, making those cupcakes in the kitchen, you didn't put your socks in the, So the important thing is to focus on what the issue is and not be thinking about, oh yeah, you think that. So your grandfather said, when he said kind of like, when people argue, they tend to be more concerned about what they're going to say back, and they're not listening to what the issue is. And so he gave us, it was his advice and his suggestion. But when you have an argument, you really it should be about something worthwhile, okay? Not something that isn't going to make a difference when you walk out the front door and the back door. But if there's something serious and you sit down and you can get into a heated argument about it, listen to the person. You can't listen if your mouth is open. You got to listen to what the other person is saying and not and then you have to think, and you have to listen and you have to think, and you can't just come back with an answer. So pretty much what it boils down to is to listen, one issue at a time, don't bring up anything else, and resolve that issue so that it's not going to be baggage. And baggage is when you like to pull something in, you like to twist it a little bit and make someone feel badly. So it's one issue at a time, listen and resolve. That's Grandma.
Change anything in your life or something that has happened in the past, what would it be?
Well, I have to say, growing to the ripe old age of 80, which I'm going to tell you, when people were 80 when I was young, they were old. I'm not old. It's right here. It's a state of mind. You move there and you never leave. So you can be 80, but you can feel younger. And it's a good thing because even though I can't physically do a lot with my grandchildren, it's a real blessing to be able to just be in their presence and share. Yes. So the one thing I think I would change is that I have a problem, and it's a serious problem. And when I was growing up, they didn't ever think about it, but I have attention deficit disorder. And so I am like, what's the question 7, Abby? Because I already finished number 3, 4, and 5, But growing up, it was hard for me to stay focused. And I think if I could change something that I didn't have the ability to change, it would be that I really wished I didn't have that, okay?
Thank you very much for spending time with me and making this interview for your birthday.
Well, thank you, Abby.